41 years, there was no NFL.
To get national streaming sports on Roku TV, channel search National Streaming Sports, tap on our logo. On laptop, tablet, or mobile phone, download the free Roku app, channel search, tap on our logo. For smart TV, order the Roku device from the Roku store, hook it up to your TV, channel search National Streaming Sports, and tap on the logo. Seconds is that? 29.
Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the Sports Wave Network and my show, Sports Corner with the Conn Man. And this afternoon, I have with me a very special guest. He goes by the name of Dana Smith. Dana, how you doing, my friend?
Doing great. Thanks for having me.
Well, folks, I guess I should tell you how this all came about. I happened to be scrolling through my Facebook, and I happened to see Dana Smith. And I looked up his profile. And I got to see all the things that he has been involved with. And I felt that he would be a very special guest and be able to give some great information and some in-depth account of all his journey and his grind to get to where he's at to right now. But folks, before I introduce him, I want to let you know a little bit about him. He is a professional sports agent at Rising Stars Management Incorporated. He was a former head equipment manager, sales executive at Cincinnati Stuff International Basketball League. He was a former athletic director, PE teacher, boys varsity basketball coach at Harvest Time Christian School. He was a former assistant general manager at Tampa Bay Wind Jammers and United States Basketball League. He was a former head equipment manager, sales executive at Tampa Bay Storm. Whew, I'm getting tired already. Former certified fitness trainer and cardiovascular rehab instructor at the Y. And he was also a former equipment manager, men's basketball at the University of Nevada, Reno. And, I looked at this and I said, he would be a great interview. So my friend, let the viewers know a little bit about yourself and talk about your grind, your journey. And I know you have some great stories for the viewers. So take it away, my good friend.
Thank you, Mr. Conn Man. So my name's Dana Smith. I've been in sports management as an agent for a little over 25 years. How I got my start was I was the equipment manager while in high school for the University of Nevada men's basketball team. That job is normally designated for college students, and they do get scholarships for that. I was able to work my way into that position and be the head full-time equipment manager while as a senior in high school, and had a scholarship waiting for me after that. I had a dear friend play on the team. His name is David Wood. He's a 15-year retired professional basketball player, 7 years in the NBA. So as I moved along in my college career, I had friends make it in the NFL and the NBA. And I said, well, I'm never going to make it, but maybe I should learn the business side of it. So at that point, I reached out to some agents when I was living in Florida, and a couple of them contacted me back. I sent out about 30 letters, and only 2 reached back to me. Their names were Jerry Bell, a retired NFL tight end that played at Arizona State University and played with the Bucks, and Tyrone Keys. He owns All Sports Community Service, and him and his organization, they give back to the local charities and they assist kids in getting college scholarships. So at that point, I got to know those gentlemen pretty well. They kind of took me under my wing. I then accepted a position with another agent that had a spot available. And basically, I was cold calling college players and seeing if there was an opportunity to represent them and reach out to them. At that point, we were able to be successful and send a couple players overseas. At that point, I felt that I could go on my own. I wasn't really making much money at it. I still had to work my regular jobs as a fitness trainer and go to school, but got lucky, landed a couple players overseas, and the rest is history. From there, I just, if things got slow, I'd take a corporate job and pick up another client and then earn a commission and then keep on moving forward and grinding. I then saw opportunities to work in the front office as I started as an equipment manager with the Tampa Bay Storm, indoor arena football, and did sales in the off season. That went really well. That started my sales and marketing background. And then I was able to accept a job because of my sales and marketing background with the Tampa Bay Windjammers of the United States Basketball League. It was a pro summer league. Over 300 guys have played in that league and later made it in the NBA. And just so you know, probably about % of college basketball players make it in the NBA. It's very, very difficult. It's very difficult. And about maybe 3%.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Sorry.
True. I said, I think less than 1%, if I'm correct.
Yeah, it is. It's probably less than 2%. And maybe 2% later play college basketball coming from high school. I was a gentleman that played basketball in high school, or at least attempted to, but never really was the last one cut. But at that point, I didn't care because I was down at the university as an equipment manager, learning from top D1 players, playing against the likes of Jason Kidd at California and Armin Gilliam from the UNLV. Jerry Tarkanian coached them. So I was getting personal instruction after practice from top D1 players and coaches. And at that point, I felt, well, maybe I can fulfill a dream and play college basketball. I went to an open tryout in Palm Beach in 1987. And out of 110 people, only 3 spots were available, and I made the team.
Wow. That's awesome.
At that point, I played briefly at the university, but as we all know, sometimes it doesn't work out. Some of the coaches aren't really honest and fair. A lot of kids are playing for free. They're promised scholarships and they don't deliver. So I had left and I said, okay, I'm going to make it my passion and my life mission to help high school and college players earn scholarships or professional contracts. I made it a life mission to help those and give back to others, as others had opened up doors for me. And since that day in 1987, it's been a passion of me to help other people grow in the sport, learn, and try to earn a college scholarship.
That is outstanding. Okay, so fast forward from there, where did that take you? And talk about what you're currently doing as well.
Okay, great question. So from there, things were slow because I wasn't a super agent like, I'm trying to think of some of the names. David Falk, the gentleman that represents some of the Miami players. He's a super agent. I can't think of his name at the top of my head, but I've spoken to him on the phone. And I felt that I still had a passion and a drive to help others. So when it was slow, I would take a corporate sales job. That didn't always work out, but that was putting, food on the table while I pursued my passion of helping other people fulfill their dreams of playing professional sports. So fast forward to that. I moved back out here to Nevada to be closer to my mom. In turn, I was still really good friends with former NBA player David Wood. He paid part of my tuition to college. He played for about 7 NBA teams. And he started up a real estate company, started working for him in his real estate company and help him take care of their 4 boys. They're the Wood boys. They all grew up here in Reno. And the oldest one played at University of Penn. His name's Caleb Wood. And I had gotten him his first contract just this past season to play in the TBL at 29 years old. And he recently tried out with the new United Basketball League. They're trying to get their funding together. But when that happens, Caleb will be playing on a team in Houston. I've helped his brother get looks for college, Isaac Wood. And then the other son of David and Angie Wood, Moses Wood, just recently played in the NBA Summer Leagues for the Atlanta Hawks. He's a 6'8" shooter, played at University of Washington, signed almost a $500,000 NIL deal. And his career's taken off. He's currently playing for the G League team of the Phoenix Suns. Recently played for the Phoenix Suns in preseason with Kevin Durant. So I'm trying to help him a little bit on endorsement sides and appearances and such. He's got an agent in LA. Represented Tyron Criswell. Tyron played at University of Nevada with Coach Eric Musselman. Coach Musselman and his late father, Bill Musselman, who was the first NBA coach for the Minnesota Timberwolves, gave me my first shot at being an agent in 1995. I brought 4 players from the University of South Florida to an open tryout, and they gave me my first opportunity to, actually represent players, and that was really exciting. And I still continue that relationship with Coach Musselman, who, as you all know, coached the Sacramento Kings and the Golden State Warriors. He was recently, for the last 3 years, at Arkansas, and now he's currently at USC, where Bronny James used to play.
Now, one thing I wanted to bring out, you had mentioned about becoming a sports agent. For those viewers who don't know, what does it take to become a sports agent?
Well, actually, all it takes is one client. A lot of people have that misconception that you have to be an attorney, you have to know law. You do need to know contracts and negotiations, but the biggest hurdle and the most important thing in being a sports agent is being able to properly recruit, identify talent, and build connections and opening up doors for these young men and women. So it's all about the relationships and getting them opportunity to show what they can do and if they're good enough to play in the, in the league.
Now, before we get into your stories, which I know you have an abundance of them, what I'd like to ask is, now, 2024, we have the NIL and other issues. How does that affect you as being a sports agent for these young athletes?
Well, if you're able to market these young men and women and get them NIL deals with the universities, then the student athlete is more apt to sign with an agent, then can bring them a $500,000 or $1 million deal. A lot of it depends on their social media and their presence. I can make all the calls that I want, but if they're not marketable for the university or products or services that they may endorse, then you have a small social media presence, you're not going to get an NIL deal. Now, I do know of a few exceptions where young men were able to get NIL deals because the universities wanted them that bad, their talent. And that's what happened with Moses Wood. He signed a $400,000 NIL deal with University of Washington this past year before now playing in the NBA G League.
That's a great thing. Now, Dana, you and I have spoken before, and you have so many great stories that I wish you could let the viewers hear some of your trials and tribulations, the good, the bad, of your experience as an agent, and anything that that transpired on your journey that the viewers might be interested in knowing.
Well, it's a struggle. I can honestly say it's a very, very tough business. It can be real cutthroat. I've tried to work with other agents. I may have the clients, they may have the connections overseas. They, initially are standoffish until they get to know me and know my agenda. And basically what I like to do is, and what's most important to me is the client and their families and their situations. So I believe in, that friendship being built and that trust. But with the other agents, they tend not to trust others. They've been burned. One particular super agent out of New York that I had talked to, he was real hesitant. He did like one of my players, Tyron Criswell, with some overseas contacts that he had that I didn't. And we were looking to do a deal, but he felt that I was going to try to steal his commission. And that's not the case. That's why contracts are in place. but he had a bad taste in his mouth about doing business with other agents because he had one agent bribe one of his clients a brand new car that was a top NBA draft pick, and therefore lost that client. So that's still in the court system right now. But other trials and tribulations, you're coming out of pocket, taking trips, going to scout players, buying meals, putting them up in hotels. I'm not in a position to go buy a kid a $70,000-$80,000 sports car just for him to sign with me. I think you do that, you're losing credibility. You're buying a person, and I don't necessarily agree with that. Maybe to help them out initially on a few things, great, but spending $50,000 to $100,000 to have a player sign with you, I think is ridiculous.
I totally agree with you. We also spoke about some of the contacts you do have, and you also spoke about something that's near and dear to me. You talked about the NBA Retired Players Association meetings that you attend. Can you let the viewers know about that?
Yes. So there is a Retired Players Association for players like David Wood, Dale Ellis, Coach Paul McKeskey, who I'm currently working with, doing camps and clinics with. He played 12 years in the NBA. He lives down in Vegas, and they have these different chapters across the country that people head. Dear friends with Dale Ellis, he heads the chapter out of Georgia, and we all come together and meet. Actually, I'm an invited guest because I'm not a retired player, but I get a ticket to go. I sure wish I was.
Right.
I would love to have that pension. But so we get together and they talk to them about financial planning. They talk to them about their health. They go through extensive health screenings for free. The dinners are amazing. Everything's paid for. It's really exciting because then I get to meet and see some of the players that I watched growing up in the 80s and the 90s that I would normally not have an opportunity to meet. And because of that, I've developed a strong relationship with Dale Ellis. He was a 17-year NBA veteran, played with the Seattle Supersonics, with the Spurs, and won a championship three-point shooting contest in the NBA. And so what's dear to my heart is helping the retired players with appearances, endorsement opportunities, or helping them with their basketball camps or their foundations. I really love doing that and, giving back. And I'm currently representing Dale Ellis and doing that and moving forward. And I'm really excited about that.
Something, Dana, here was something that I did. I contacted the NBA office because, I'm a so-called historian, and I wanted to keep the memories of the older players alive. And I contacted them to try to get some of the veteran players on my show. And they basically told me, Mike, we love what you're doing, but we're not giving you anybody because they are, even though they're retired, they still are part of a union. Am I correct? Can you expand or expound on that side of being a retired NBA player?
I haven't heard that. I know they're a part of the NBA players, retired players association. That's something, or because of knowing the players personally, I have access to. So that's something, Michael, I can help you with, to connect you with some of these guys.
I appreciate that. And now, Dana, this is your show. I want you to expound and expand on anything that you want to talk about, your experiences, anything that you want to talk about as far as Paul McKeskey or anything that you want to talk about.
Sure.
It's your show.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. I'm really happy to be here and to share, some of my experiences, the ups and the downs of the business. I'm excited to announce that I just landed former NBA draft pick. I think he was the 13th pick in the NBA draft with the Miami Heat, All-American from Kansas, assistant NBA coach, and former University of San Francisco coach, Rex Walters.
Okay.
I'm really excited about that. Rex is in his early 50s, thinks his career's done, but I said, no, your career's not done. You've got an amazing resume. So I'm really pumped and excited about representing Coach Walters. And I know of a couple jobs that are opened up that I would like to, I'm going to market him too. But just super excited for him to give me that opportunity. He's not too old, early 50s is not too old. He's got an unbelievable resume, like 3 pages long, like Coach McKeskey. And I just love helping guys like reinvent themselves, get back into the business, fulfill their dreams and goals, and being able to provide for their families again.
That's a worthwhile cause. And I know just talking with you that you're very sincere, and I'm sure you're going to be dedicated and committed to helping these individuals out. Because I know for a fact, because I go back way back with the ABA, and I know a lot of them players, the retired players, have suffered financial hardships and things of that nature. And it's kind of my mission is to try to somehow be able to help them out. And I know for a fact that the Chris Paul and LeBron and a lot of the other players from the Players Association made a point that they had something where they could possibly help financially these players who played in the ABA who are having financial hardships. And you see all these people making $50 and $60 million a year, but it took the players from back in the day who had their blood, sweat, and tears. So these players now can take full advantage of all the things that they're being offered. But we always tend to forget who started it all. And my mission is to keep that memory alive in any way, shape, or form that I can. And having you on the show, because you're kind of like me, you're old school, and I enjoy having you on as well. And I want you to be able to express your mission and the things you're trying to do. And I think you should be applauded for what you do. And again, this is your show. I can sit back because you know me, I got a big mouth, so I can talk all day. But I'd rather have you speak and let the viewers know about you and what you're doing and what you see in the future and anything that you want to discuss. The floor is yours.
Sure. Thank you. Well, Michael, I do want to talk a little bit about Coach McKeskey. He's been a dear friend of mine. He was coaching here at the Reno Bighorns. He's been a 12-year NBA player, played with Ricky Pierce, played against Larry Bird, Magic Johnson back in the 80s and 90s. I still look at film on him and watch. It's pretty exciting to see someone like that was so successful become a dear friend of mine. Also, I want to give a shout out to the North Valley's women's coach, the varsity JV and freshman coaches. Their program is amazing, next level, with Coach Zach and Coach Metzger. Coach McKeskey and I, next weekend on the 22nd and 23rd, are going to be up at North Valley's doing some workouts and some clinics, going over some drills with them and different fundamentals and things that Coach Paul is an expert at. And it definitely is going to benefit their program. And I'm looking to reach out to other programs to help here in Northern Nevada as well, because there is some talent here and they don't get the exposure that they deserve. And the coaches here don't get the credit that they deserve. With the traveling teams, it's very expensive. A lot of parents can't come out of pocket. So that's something that I would like to do with my connections or my ability to network with businesses to help get more kids involved and being able to participate. A couple stories. Let's see. I got a couple funny stories. One, I was with David. I was at University of South Florida, and he was playing with Detroit Pistons. It was the last year that Bill Laimbeer and Isaiah Thomas played. There was Rick Mahorn. David and Sean Elliott were traded from the Spurs for Dennis Rodman in a draft pick. So what was exciting for me is, watching all these guys growing up as a high school kid and younger, having David there, being able to, stay at the hotel with the guys, go to lunch and dinner with them, see them at their practice, see them, in a different light behind the scenes that no one else would be able to encounter and get the benefit from. So David, being his cocky self, was thinking, well, you love competition, and I think we should shoot free throws for some money. And I said, okay, that sounds great. So we warm up, and I said, what are we playing for? I'm broke. I'm in college. I don't have any money.
Right.
He said, well, how about that fancy gold watch you got there? So I had a nice little, I don't know, $300 or $400 bull of a watch. And I said, well, what are you going to put up? I mean, I figured $300 or $400 to you is worth about $5,000. So, I said, put your money where your mouth is and put up $5,000. And he's like, well, what am I going to tell my wife if I lose? Well, you tell your wife you tithed another 10% to the church this month.
There you go.
So Shaq walks in, Penny Hardaway walks in, Scott Skiles walk into the training room.
Wow.
We start warming up. There's a big window. Shaq's getting his ankles taped, his feet taped for practice. And he's just sitting there on the bench watching us warm up. So I take my 10, make my first 10. David makes his first 10. And I said, well, the competition's on. So we get to 50, and he's getting a little nervous. I've only missed 3. David hasn't missed any. And mind you, I hadn't picked up a basketball in like a year. And I was just excited to be in the moment and have the opportunity to play, against not only one of my best friends, but an NBA guy that was top 2 in the NBA in free throw shooting percentages. So we get to 50. I start choking a little bit. I miss 4 or 5. David hasn't missed any. And it was just incredible. And there's Shaq watching us shoot these free throws. So we paused for a minute, and I said, David, does Shaq want a lesson on how to shoot free throws, or does he want our autograph? So we get to, long story short, we get to 70. I miss a couple more. David's only missed about 2. I'm like, well, I'm still in it. I've got 30 more to go. And David comes up to me. He's like, you're going to miss, and he's trying to throw me off my concentration. And it worked. David ended up winning. He made 96 out of 100 free throws.
Wow.
And I made 89.
Wow.
So gave him the watch. He's like, oh, it looks so fancy on my wrist. Oh, it's so beautiful. I'm going to cherish this forever. He's just rubbing it in my wound. And I'm just laughing about it. And he's like, I tell you what, I'm going to give you your watch back on the condition you read a chapter of Proverbs a day for a month. If you don't, you have to mail it to me. I said, if I don't, then we're going to go double. We're going to go $10,000, and I'll put up 1,000. We haven't done that bet yet, but I don't think he'd want to do it if I started practicing before we had the competition.
I like it. I love it.
But again, I want to just recognize a lot of the local coaches here in Reno. They're doing a great job. They get paid very little money. It's really extremely hard to fundraise. There's a lot of different travel teams, AAU teams, and I'm really excited about the opportunity of helping Coach Zach and Coach Metzger with their programs and taking it to another level. Let me see. Let me think about another story. Here's a quick story. Yes, go ahead.
Bring up a point. Because you talk about travel teams and etc.
Yes.
I have a major interest, and I want to get your take on it, is AAU basketball. I've been a referee for almost 40 years now, so I referee quite a bit, and I've dealt with AAU, and I've done high school and small college, etc. But I found out that the AAU, at least here in Massachusetts, is really kind of, I'll put it bluntly, shaky at best. I don't really like the fact that you have teams that play maybe 5 games during the course of a day. That's what they do down here for the most part. Not always, but there are some tournaments where the teams are playing 4 or 5 games a day. And then you got parents who are paying all this money for their kids to play. And I think that sometimes the concept is, to me, AAU is about producing better talent. That's about development. And I think sometimes now the AAU gets so caught up in wins and losses. And I don't know. I think they kind of lost the boat on this one. What is your take on it? Maybe you can give me a different perspective.
Sure. Well, like you, I'm a referee as well. I love doing it. don't think you knew that, but not 40 years, but going on about 10 or 11.
Okay.
And I love it. But I do a lot of tournaments, a lot of the travel team AAU tournaments. And here in Nevada, they're pretty good. I think I've seen the most they've played is maybe 3 games in a day. But yeah, some of the larger tournaments, they do play anywhere from 3 to 5 in a day, or 6 in 2 days. And that's a lot. These kids are still developing and growing. And
Right.
the last thing we want to see is the kids getting hurt. I witnessed a kid just a couple months ago. The Truckee varsity boys coach had a travel team, AAU team. His son is like 6'5", 6'6" already, and he's only 16. And he had separated his bone from his leg, or he's growing so much that it can't keep up with the development and the coordination. And he really damaged his leg pretty bad and had to be rushed to the ER. And I was refereeing that game, and that was really awful to see. But yeah, I think they shouldn't play the kids more than 2 or 3 games a day at the most.
And another thing I want to bring up, since we're fellow referees, is I guess the parents' involvement, particularly during their sons or daughters' games, and how I think they lift sons and or daughters, and they can get a little, how could I put it lightly, aggressive. I guess that'd be that's the word for today, aggressive. I'll leave it at that. What's your take on that? And have you had experiences where the parents are living their dreams through their kids?
Oh yeah, they put a lot of pressure on these kids. I get it. The parents want results. They pay a lot of money. Nothing like having a private tennis coach or a private teaching golf pro coach, but they do, pay the travel ball, and it gets a little pricey, and not all the parents can afford it. But yeah, I've had to eject some parents. They got really mouthy, or they're making calls for me. And so I just asked them just bluntly, would you like my whistle? I think you could do a better job.
Mm-hmm. Or,
hey, we're recruiting. We're short referees. Why don't you come out and join the association? We'd love to have you.
I like that. That's a comeback. That's a good one. I might use that.
So I've had the parents, and I won't name names, but I actually had a coach here physically assault me 3 years ago.
Wow.
And the NIAA that governs athletics in Reno here did not punish him, but for a month. I could have had him arrested, but I felt that wasn't necessary. Plus, I probably would have gotten punished by my association not giving games. So it took the coach 3 years to apologize to me, but he did apologize to me. And
wow.
I've done adult leagues. I don't recommend people doing men's adult leagues. They're former pro players or college players, or wanted to be, that were just high school. And a lot of them had really bad anger management issues and tempers, and nearly been assaulted by adults in the men's leagues. So I refuse to do adult men's basketball. I won't do it anymore. But back to the AAU and the cost. Yeah, it's a lot of money, but I do like what some of the coaches are doing. Not all of them, but I do like most of what they're trying to do. Is they're really trying to help coach these kids and develop the players.
Mm-hmm.
They do. To kind of segue along that in regards to coaching, I've noticed just in all my years of refereeing and being an agent, and then also I was a volunteer assistant at University of Tampa men's basketball. Some of the coaches don't always have the best interests for their players. They do not develop the players and working on the fundamentals. They expect us as referees to teach them, and other than talking them out of fouling or telling them to move their feet, we can blow our whistle all day long, but it doesn't stop the kids from playing rough.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's the coach's responsibility to teach the kids the basics and the fundamentals and how to stay in control. Some of these kids are really, they don't have the best of coordination. Their first year coming out, and I get it. A lot of these coaches in high school don't help the kids get scholarships. It's hard enough to get scouted and recruited in smaller cities like Reno, where there are some players that have the talent and ability to go to the next level. But then also there's the college coaches. They're making their $500,000, $300,000, $1 million deals, their contracts, and a lot of them, they lie. They're I hate to say it, but some of them are like used car salesmen.
Yeah.
They lie and they say, "Oh, you're going to get a full ride. You try out, make my team." And I was told that too, and that never happened. But there are a lot of good coaches out there that are really trying to develop players. They don't know how to get their players exposure, and that's where I come in and educate them, help them, and say, "Hey, this is how you build a resume. This is how you put game film together. This is how you market. This is who you send it out to. You need to do follow-up callbacks if you really want your kids to get a look at playing the next level in college. These are some of the things that you have to do." And I've literally sat down with kids and helped them do it because the parent and the coach don't know, or the coach don't care. They don't care.
Right, which is being to my leading. You just helped me out there, because I was going to say, okay, a lot of coaches, like you said, do not recruit their kids to go to college for college scholarships. So that is more reliant on the kids themselves. And you just told me what you do, helping them. How about the kids who do not have someone like you to help them out?
Well, I suggest that they, talk to their coach, and ask their coach, "Hey, coach, what do I need to work on to get better? Do you see me having the ability or talent, if not there now, but in the future, to get to that next level? What do I got to do?" A lot of coaches are not open to guys like me or Coach McKeskey working with their programs. I don't know if it's out of jealousy, or they don't care, or they think we're making big money. It's none of the above. We want to help their programs, be successful, because if we help their programs be successful, then that coach does really, really well. Maybe that coach has aspirations or dreams of going to coach in college.
Right.
A lot of them are teachers, they don't make but maybe $2,000 a season. So a lot of these coaches, like Coach Metzger and Coach Zach at North Valleys High School in Reno, Nevada, they don't do it for the money. They don't make any money off this. They do fundraisers. They do all sorts of things to raise money to help their kids. And, Coach McKeskey and I are just really excited to work with their program next weekend, and we're going to be filming it. But I just love working with coaches that are really open. They want to learn, they want to get better. We can learn from them, but they're literally giving back, helping the players and helping the parents. Because if you think about it this way, if they're helping these kids develop and get better to land a college scholarship, who is that saving money for? The parent.
Absolutely.
The parent, because every year college tuition goes up. Every year it goes up. They can't justify it, but it goes up. And nowadays, you get a college degree and you still can't get a good paying job. You've got to really specialize. And I think that there are a lot of great coaches out there that want to get better and learn and help develop their players in their program. I think there's more of those coaches than not.
I agree. Now, let me ask you another question, Dan. I'm going to put you on the spot a little bit. Now, I'm a high school senior. I'm looking to go to hopefully get a scholarship to go play in college. And I have you maybe as my representative, but I also have Joe Schmo also talking to me, and another one as a youngster at 18 years old. What do you recommend in that situation?
Well, sit down and interview them with your parent. Unfortunately, this does happen a lot on my end of being an agent, where I've had clients, I've had players that I've doled out money for trips, gotten drafted in minor leagues, and lunches and dinners for their family, making hundreds of calls, sending out resumes and film overseas or to the G League or the NBA. And, it's really not fair when you've got 3 or 4 other agents in your ear. And what these guys are doing is they're doing this. They obviously want to go with the agent that's going to get them the job. So they'll sign with the agent that gets them the job first.
Right.
Okay. That's great and dandy and all. And I totally get it. But it's not fair to me if I'm spending all my time and energy and effort being loyal to you, giving you all my undivided attention, all my hours of the day, hard-earned money out of my pocket. It's not fair to me if you're talking to 3 other representatives, and they're shining you on, telling you this, telling you that, and they're not producing, but I'm producing, but then you won't sign my contract. So I've gotten really smart about that. I refuse to make a call until someone signs a contract with me. So it's protecting me and it's protecting them. And so I totally get it from the client side, the athlete side. They want to go with the guy that's going to get them the job first. But they do these shenanigans in real estate too, and it's not very honorable. And I look at someone with respect, but also you have to respect those that want to help you. And then the other side of that is a lot of these guys, they're not honest. A lot of the players, they're not honest. I've dealt with it, and I've had to have talks, or I've walked away from players. That's kind of why I like working with guys that are a little older, that are wanting to resurrect their career, like I'm doing for Caleb Wood. I love helping the retired players. They're really gracious. Not a lot of them may be planned financially, but that's a good point that you brought up, Michael, that, yeah, they could be talking to 2 or 3 other agents at once. And, it's not right. It's not right. If you're not happy with the agent you have, you give them a 30-day written notice, and then you go ahead and hire another one.
Now, Dana, we've been talking for a little while now, and I want to make sure that you have expressed all your views or what you wanted to get across to the viewers. So is there something maybe I didn't ask that I should have, or maybe something that you want to bring up? Because again, this is all about you right now. So hopefully a lot of people will be tuning in. So I want you to, let the viewers know anything that you want.
Okay. Well, I won't name colleges, but I am been in talks with a few colleges about scouting and recruiting for them. Now you've got these new NIL deals. It's great and dandy. I agree with it, but I also disagree with it. I think they're making a little bit too much money. But then again, maybe I'm wrong. But a kid making $2, $3, $4 million because they've got a 300,000 following on social media, I think is a little absurd. But because if you get these kids making this kind of big money and they're playing on football and basketball teams, don't you think they're going to feel that they're running the show at the program?
Absolutely.
They're making more money than the coaches.
And another thing I wanted to bring up with you, if I may, is that, okay, I'm playing at University of so-and-so. I don't like the coach. Whether it be playing time, now I can go elsewhere. And I think it's tough for the coaches as well. And yes. I think that's why you see a lot of the old-time coaches leaving the sport because of the NIL. Whereas, usually you want to build teams to, getting your recruiting and also having the consistency and also developing the players through years. But the player goes to a certain university and they don't get the playing time that they think they should, they're gone. It's a never-ending.
Yes.
And I wonder how coaches deal with that.
They don't like it. They don't like it at all. I think the NCAA is stepping in now and allowing young men and women to only transfer twice. That's what the rumor is. I've heard. I've known of some players that have transferred 3 times.
Yeah,
3 times. And I get it. If you're not getting playing time, you're good enough to play, or the coach doesn't like you, or the coach overpromised and underdelivered. Meaning, when he recruited you out of high school, yeah, we're going to build you up, we're going to develop your game, and then come second year, you're going to start. You're going to be one of my stars. And it never happens. I think the coaches shouldn't promise that at all, putting some of these kids on the pedestal. But, I think the NCAA stepping in and allowing the kids to transfer twice, I think that's fair. More than 2 times. If the kid's that good, then he needs to turn pro. If he's not happy where he's at and he's that good, then go get some private coaching and counsel and see if, scouts are looking at you and you'd have an opportunity to turn pro. But the NIL, I'm all for kids getting paid and making the money. I am, because the NCAA makes a lot of money off their image and likeness.
Mhm.
Like Dunn, the LSU gymnast. I mean, she makes like what, 2.5-3 million a year. She's got, I don't know, millions of followers. And if I had a cute face and I was blonde and athletic and I had 500,000 followers and I was playing a sport, then sure, I'd probably get 1 million, or 500,000 a year. She's doing commercials now. You've got the two stars at University of Colorado. They're playing for Coach Sanders. They're getting 1 million, 2 million a year. It's unbelievable. I don't know how the parents, reel that in when they're making more money than the parent and the coach.
Right.
I mean, hopefully the families are benefiting from this, because these guys are going to turn pro, but I mean, I'm all for it, but I think it's gotten a little out of hand, the transferring too many times and, making too much NIL money.
And I think also it takes away the lack of respect, because when you're making 3-4 million, 2-3 million, and a coach is telling you whatever, you may not be so apt to listen or respect what the coach has got to say, because hey, look at my bank account. You know what I mean? So you can take into that consideration as well. Now, I wanted to bring up the fact that you got two people who are playing overseas. Tell us how that worked out. How did that begin, and how did that originate?
Well, one of them, it's kind of an interesting story. His dad is Sumaila Samaki. His dad played for the Cincinnati Stuff of the International Basketball League back in 1999 and 2001. I was the head equipment manager, and I did sales and marketing in the off season. And then I would maybe represent a player part-time on the side when I was working for the teams. So I left. The owners didn't honor my contract. I left. And Sumaila said, please stay in touch, stay in touch. So at that point in time, one of my best friends who holds all the records at University of South Florida, Charlie Bradley, as a sophomore, led the nation in scoring at 32 points a game without the three-point line. Pistol Pete Maravich wanted to be his agent. Took a scouting position with the New Jersey Nets with Mr. George Steinbrenner. A lot of people may not remember, but Mr. Steinbrenner owned the Yankees, but his media company merged with the New Jersey Nets and the New Jersey Devils of the NHL. So they merged with the Yankees. And so George owned part of the Nets. Well, he hired my good friend Charlie to scout. So I kept that communication open with Sumaila, and we got all his film and his resumes to Mr. Steinbrenner and the scouts in the New Jersey Nets. And I was able to be, because I had that relationship with Mr. Steinbrenner, and the scouts really loved Sumaila. I got him drafted in the second round to a guaranteed deal for $800,000. So that was pretty exciting. Needless to say, I didn't really make much money off that deal because he had an agent prior, but I did all the work. All the work. The agent, he got the credit and the commission, but I did the work. So Sumaila has a son named Kobe Samaki who is playing college ball. Now Sumaila is 7'2". He's a pretty big boy. He's from West Africa, from Mali. And Kobe's 6'7" with a 6'9" wingspan. And Kobe's currently playing in Italy, putting up double numbers. But he's only playing in the third division. He's good enough playing second or coming off the bench in first. And that's what we're going to be working on next season. But he just the other day scored 23 points and grabbed 17 rebounds.
Oh, okay.
He's a force inside. He's quick jumper, very athletic, knows how to use his body, can handle contact. So I'm really excited about getting him in front of Coach McKeskey in Vegas this summer, working with him. The other player is Caleb Wood. Caleb played here at Reno at the Galena High School. Caleb had an opportunity to play in the Canadian League with Coach McKeskey, turned it down, thought he was better than that, but wasn't, and never got a job. And you don't look a gift horse in the mouth. If you have an opportunity to start at the lower level to get your feet wet and to get some film and some experience, then you got to eat a little crow and put in the work to get to the next level.
That's very, very true. Now, for the viewers, you have something lined up next week or the next couple of weeks. Let the viewers know exactly what you guys got going on. You and Mr. McKeskey.
Yes. So as I mentioned earlier, we're really excited to put together some workouts and private clinics for North Valley's high school girls varsity JV and freshman team with Coach Zach and Coach Metzger. They're great guys. I've refereed a number of games for them. They never yell at me. I love them. They never yell. And they'll ask me a question. Or say, hey, what did you think about that call or that play? And I really respect these guys because they're very, very kind. And I might blow a call and I'll own up to it. You probably do that too, Michael. I'm like, if you're blowing a call or two, you say, hey, Coach, I got you in the next one. I'm sorry. It was my fault. But we're doing a workout up at North Valley's. Got approved by Washoe County. So thank you, athletic director of the county, Mr. Stallworth, for us to be able to help these young women, build their skills. And, the coaches up there have got a couple of girls that are looking to play college. So I'm going to really help them get developed with the coaches there and help them earn a college scholarship because they seem like just wonderful young ladies. So that's the 22nd, 23rd. We're going to be doing more camps and clinics for the local schools. I've reached out to some. I'm waiting to hear back. Coach McKeskey and he goes by Coach Mo. We're going to be doing workouts in Vegas with college players, with pros this summer. I'm excited about that. So I'll take my travel trailer down there and maybe play a few games of poker and train some people. And if another thing, if you all are watching this show and you need someone to answer questions for you, or I got a high school kid that's looking to do this or looking to do that, or I got a college kid, or I've got a friend's, they're playing overseas, they're not happy, reach out to Michael. He'll give you my email address. I'd love to help you in any way I can, even if it's just a phone call. I don't charge for that. I'm looking to get a couple more clients, but I'm quite busy now, but always have room for a couple other good ones. But reach out to Michael. He'll give you my email address, and or you can just email me at my basic email at Dana Smith, DANA SMITH. The number is 817 @gmail. I'd give you my management one, but it's too long. So it's Rising Stars Sports MGMTINC @gmail. But I'm really excited about next weekend. Thank you for bringing that up, Michael.
Absolutely, and I would be remiss if I didn't mention my favorite individuals not in my house. I had the pleasure of doing their show twice, matter of fact, and they spoke very highly of you. And then they're the ones that told me that you were a referee, you were an official. So they told me, they said you're good. So I want to give a shout out to them, and also who's tuned in as well. But hopefully the show gets as many viewers as we possibly can. We got about a few more minutes left. Then is there anything else you want to let the viewers know? Because first of all, I'm honored to have you come on. You've given out quite a bit of knowledge and information, and I'm honored to have you on my show. And you're welcome. You have an open invitation anytime you got something coming up. Let me know, and we can do that.
I appreciate that. I got one quick story about a famous NBA player.
Sure.
So David was playing with the he did play with the Golden State Warriors, but he was playing with the Detroit Pistons with last year Isaiah Thomas and Bill Laimbeer playing. So prior to going down from the hotel to the pool in Orlando, David looked out the window and said, who's down there? Whose autograph you want? And he's like, he saw Isaiah. He goes, listen, whatever you do, do not talk to Isaiah Thomas. Don't talk to him. I said, why? He said, well, because he's a jokester. And I said, okay. I said, all right. So I go down in the pool, and it's just Isaiah and I. This is 1993. And he's got his, cell phones just barely came out. They were really expensive. It was like 50 cents a minute or something outrageous. And I actually had a cell phone I got from AAA in a little pouch with the cord and everything else like that. So I brought my cell phone down to the pool thinking I was really cool. And he's got his flip phone, you know, he's a gazillionaire, and, you know, I'm not worth but $2. And he turns and looks at me. He says, "Hey, young man." And I'm looking around and I'm looking around. And I'm like, "Me?" He said, "Yeah, you. Who are you? You were at practice today. It's a private practice. Nobody's allowed to come to these practices at all. How did you get in? You must know a player. Who do you know?" I said, "Oh boy, here we go. David warned me about this guy." So I told him I knew David, and we were talking, and he was asking me how I knew David. I said I was the equipment manager, and then sure enough, he started cracking on me. "Oh, you were the water boy, huh? You were the water boy." And I said, "Yeah, I was the water boy, Isaiah. I was the water boy." And he's like, man, you must have big money. How do you afford a cell phone? How do you afford a cell phone, man? You're a college kid. You're a college kid." I said, "Well, Isaiah, you're not the only one that has a job."
Yeah, you know that. Excuse me. You know, that's my guy. You know, Isaiah is one of my favorite players of all time. So when you're talking, I'm really focused on that. So that's great. That's great. Well, you know, we got about a few more minutes left, Dana. So I want to thank you for coming on. I appreciate you coming on my show and letting the viewers know a little bit about yourself. And again, for those who may not have paid attention, how can they get in touch with you? Can you give out your email again, or how they can get in touch with you?
Yeah, I'm on Facebook. I'm on Instagram. My name is Dana Smith, DANASMITH. And then you could put in the search with my name, Reno, Nevada. It should pop up on my Instagram or my Facebook page. I don't have 500,000 followers. I'm not famous. I just know a few famous people, but I'm not famous. You know, never will be. I'm just the kind of guy that's just behind the scenes that does the dirty work and tries to help people fulfill their dreams. But if you have any questions or concerns, your kid may be playing high school ball and you want to know maybe how they can get more playing time and show favor with the coach, or how to market themselves, get a resume together, you know, some film together. I've got a guy in Germany who's an American coach who can dissect the film for you. He can cut it and make it into a highlight reel. I'm on the phone every other week with college coaches trying to get Isaac Wood a college scholarship. So, you know, just props to David and his boys, just grinding away. But that's how you can reach me, or danasmith817@gmail. And then if we connect there, I'll give you my personal cell phone number. But I love helping people fulfill dreams. You know, I don't expect anything. I just believe in giving back, recognizing and remembering where you come from. And lastly, Bill Gates said it best. He said, in order to be successful, you have to help others be successful.
What a great way to end the show on that one. That was awesome. Again, Dana, thank you for coming on my show. Folks, this has been a treat for me. I'm honored to have him on my show. And Dana, again, I want to thank you so much. You have an open invitation anytime you want to come on. Thank you. You know,
thank you, Mike.
We'll be in touch. You know that. All right, folks, again, I want to thank my man, Dana Smith, coming on my show. It's been real, and we look forward to having more talks. He's going to come on again. Best believe that as well. But again, I want to thank you guys for tuning in to my show, Sports Corner with the Conn Man on the Sports Wave Network. You can also watch us tomorrow, this very show, on Roku TV at 5 p.m. Eastern Time. Again, Dana, thank you so much. May you have a great day, and may God bless you.
God bless you too, Michael. Thank you.
Again, folks, thank you for tuning in.